Welcome back to the ChowTimePod. It's your host, Red. I got a video today from Songs That Stressful Male Clips. Like he's one of my favorite creators that really give those life lessons out, those smacks left and right for men. And, I have a lot of younger viewers now, and I just, want to instill some of these life lessons that they might not learn anywhere else. So please subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. And let's get to that chow. It's chow time.
Now here's a quick one that perfectly demonstrates what happens when young guys have the wrong male role model, father, grandfather, uncle, to advise them in life decisions when it comes to women and the damage it can cause, and why a young man needs the right guy telling him the right advice to move forward. Title: Am I the a-hole for telling my son he needs to grow up a little bit and stop refusing to see his ex-girlfriend? And this is all about his son here who got his girlfriend pregnant at 18. They had the kid, and after a few years, the girlfriend abandoned him, left him with the daughter, and it messed him up. But then one day, she's back, and the dad's telling him to give her a second chance. Wrong. It says here, my son is 26 with a beautiful 8-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
26, 8-year-old daughter means she was born when he was 18. He and his ex-girlfriend were both 18 when she came around, and she was definitely a little surprised. That's putting it mildly. Despite the circumstances, my son really stepped up. He got a good job and eventually got them a nice apartment. They were together for almost 3 years, but she just wasn't ready to be a mother, and she ran away with some other boy.
What?
Already, he's being a little too nice. She just wasn't ready. She wasn't a bad girl. She just wasn't prepared to be an adult. Smack. You are being way too easy on her. Come on here. Yes, she was young, but not young enough. And your son stepped up to the plate at 18 years old. And he didn't disappear.
He's a good man. Good man.
This devastated my son, but he found his feet. My granddaughter is still very young, so she never had any strong memories of her mom. He's been a single father since then, and it's still a sore spot for him. That's understandable. Not to mention he needed financial help from her. Where's the money coming from her? And the little girl didn't grow up without. The girl grew up without a mother. Probably wondering, why did mom leave? Where's mom? Can you imagine those questions he got? Yesterday, my son comes to my house incredibly upset, saying that his ex-girlfriend came to see him. She said she was so sorry for leaving like she did, and she just wanted to see him and her daughter. You've been gone for 5 years. I haven't got one single check from you to help support the girl. You don't just get to come back in tears and say how so sorry you are, and everything will be okay. I can't trust you. What makes me think you're not going to do that again? Or get our daughter's hopes up and you take off again when things get difficult? Oh, no. My son said he told her not to come back and to shut the door on her face. Good for him.
Solid.
He was practically in tears telling me this. I told him he needed to calm down and act like an adult about this. Smack. If anybody's acting like an adult, it was your son who stepped up to the plate when the girl was born, when he was 18 years old, did what he had to do. He didn't have a meltdown and disappear on her. He's allowed to slam the door and be a little upset here. How about you be an adult here and stand up for your son?
Damn right.
How about her acting like an adult, huh? She's the one that abandoned your son. She wasn't asking for anything but to talk, and the least he could do is hear her out. No, she wasn't just there to just talk. She was there to have him take her back. Probably things didn't work out with the Chad and Tyrones that she wanted to be with, so now she's back with this guy. Read between the lines, dude. I tried to tell him that he couldn't refuse his daughter a chance to connect with her mom, how good this would be for all of them. But he was a complete mess. He couldn't even talk to me. He just stormed out. I've called, but he won't answer. I'd storm out too. You're giving him bad advice. He needs his solid rock. You're more on her side than his. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, a young girl needs her mother, but not a mother that she can't trust, that's going to just abandon her when things get difficult. And believe me, she didn't just want to talk. There was way more to that. This guy clearly...
supporter.
This father here is probably in his late 40s or early 50s and is fucking clueless. I understand how hard this is for him, but this isn't some evil, malicious woman, and it sounds like she's coming from a place of real remorse. What? Dude, you weren't there. You don't know. This wasn't you being abandoned. I was just trying to help him think clearly. But it feels like he just won't be rational here, and it's starting to affect his and his daughter's life. His and his daughter's life was going along just fine until she suddenly came back and screwed up the whole thing. He doesn't trust her. He has every right not to trust her. But can you see, guys, the problem when I'm talking about? This is why I do what I do. This is why I have guys write me in my main channel, Strong Successful Male, which if you haven't signed up, you should definitely do that. How so many young guys never got the guidance because either they didn't have a father or the father they had were like this guy. They were completely clueless in terms of not just human nature, but female nature here. All right? This guy's giving terrible advice, okay? And if she wants to reconnect, she wants to see the daughter, then she can hire an attorney and work through the courts and all that way, because I would not be just, oh, come on in, here you go, here's your mom that you haven't seen in 5 years, and mess with that girl. It's shocking to hear that this girl doesn't have serious abandonment issues or any other things, but I guarantee you that she will. Or that girl may be very resentful of seeing the mom showing up after all these years. A whole shitstorm can happen here. Do people make mistakes in life? Yes, of course. But I've lived long enough and certainly read enough stories over the last 3.5 years to realize that it isn't always black and white. Yes, I get that, but still, a lot of these people, if they are in trouble when they're younger, they're going to be in trouble when they're older, and would be irresponsible, selfish, liars.
People change. Almost always for the worst. There's very few people that actually change for the better. This is why, when I speak to the young men and when I hear stories of them doing better and, progressing in life, it makes me really happy because it's a rare case. Most people get worse as they go older. It's just how it is. It's human nature. There's very few people that become better people, become nicer people, become more respectful people, and become better friends overall. But, having parents that can help guide you through some of this is great. But then there's also parents that you need to cut off sometimes. I'm not saying he has to cut off his father in this particular story, but I understand why people shouldn't really need to cut off their mother or their fathers because they're toxic. Toxic people around your life is going to just bring you down, make you feel a certain way, and it just makes your life harder. Sometimes you don't need that. I understand why men, gravitate away from their family, but it's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. I'm not telling men that to leave their families or they have to stick with their families. It's, like you said, it's not black and white. There's a lot of gray in between, and you have to judge that amongst yourselves.
Deceivers, manipulators, whatever you want to call it. Generally speaking, people don't change. A leopard doesn't change his spots. And it took her 5 years to figure this out. I think things just didn't work out with the guy she really wanted. So now she's back with this guy for the sure thing. That's my idea here.
100%.
And this young guy
I agree
here
with him.
needs a father telling him reality, not this, you should hear her out and you're not acting like an adult, blah, blah, blah. Come on here. And with this, and this is why so many young guys make these mistakes they do, because they go to these guys for the wrong advice. So I applaud the son for doing what he had to do and being strong for the daughter, and I would leave that guy too. But this father is being an a-hole, and he does not deserve to give his son advice, in my opinion.
Yep. Whew, that was some solid chow, Young men out there are struggling because, one, they don't have father figures. Two, they have shitty father figures, and it's ridiculous that how hard it is for men to become men and to understand the world without the guidance. I may not know everything. I lived a certain life, but there's other men out there that, make content that lived a different life than I did. And we all have very similar, but yet different advices. I don't tell men they have to do anything. It's up to you. You have to choose to want to do these things yourself. But I always want to reiterate that, the family you choose to build those connections with sometimes is almost always stronger than the family you're born with. So, treasure some of those relationships and build them up. Please like and subscribe down below. I really appreciate that, and catch you guys next time. It's chow time.